Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro friends. Before we get started, cheers. This is a fresh batch of elixir that is the Ethiopia Kola Bolcha. I'll get better at saying it. This is the first time we've brewed it and it is tasting amazing. I still haven't got the farmer's details yet. I'm still in the process of getting that. But cheers to Elliot Renecki from Steady State Roasting for roasting this for us. It's delicious. And if you want to grab some, head to elixirspecialtycoffee.com, enter the code IMAPITFORWARD at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your first order. But the reason I'm cheersing today is because I want to talk to you about a subject that's very, very dear to my heart. It's a subject of trust. And the reason it's really dear to my heart is because I feel as though I've been a student of trust my whole life. Excuse me. I've really tried to understand what trust meant, particularly when it came to work and my career and my employers and building teams and culture and things like that. The relationship that we have with trust is something that is at the epicenter of the way that we will end up moving through our careers and our business experiences in not only the coffee industry, but every industry. And today I want to talk about trust with your employer, trust with your employees, and trust with yourself. Trust with yourself is where we're going to get started because, in my personal opinion, it is the one guiding factor that will determine your success long term. Until you can determine and have security in the trust that you have in yourself to make decisions that better yourself or that are in your own best interest first and foremost, you won't be able to recognize trustworthy people or situations anywhere. And so trust is an integral thing, and we're going to talk about this a lot at the workshop that's happening this Saturday. If you haven't picked up your tickets yet, head to mapitforward.org/events. This workshop is focused on helping people in this moment of their career understand how to get to from this moment to 10 years, building a strategically structured career that feels fulfilling for them and the outlook that they want to have and achieve for that career. Now, if you can't trust yourself to deliver on the goals or the aspirations that you have for yourself, if you can't trust yourself to choose employers that are going to be aligned with you and your intention and what you're trying to achieve, if you can't trust yourself to recognize employees or employers that are worthy of having in your inner circle, then you are not going to move forward in your career or your business with flow or with confidence. This one was a really hard one for me personally to learn because I suffer, and I say now suffer, I didn't even know about it until Jamie helped me understand it. Jamie Berry, the psychologist that's been on here before. He's not my psychologist, for people that keep asking me. He's not. He's my best friend. And we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. It does help having a best friend who is a psychologist, but he recognized this year in me. He's like, you suffer from over empathy. And what that means is that I just trust everyone very quickly. And I recently heard this really great quote. Trust isn't earned, it's given. And what I realized was I was just giving out trust left, right, and center. But I had no idea how to trust myself. I trusted other people above myself. And the last, I'd say, like good decade for me has been about learning how to trust myself. And the best thing that has done for me, has helped me fine-tune my gut. So before anything, I got about the business. And this is usually the last slide of every workshop that I do, whether it's for cafe owners, roasters, baristas, salespeople, anyone. Learn to trust yourself before you learn to trust anybody else. Because once you can trust yourself, you can trust that if you're sitting in an interview and you are getting a read off a potential future employer, then you know that the read that you get is something that you can take to the bank. You know that if there's just not something quite right about this person, you can trust your gut instinct. If you look at someone and you think, oh, they're awesome, but you haven't gone through the process of learning how to trust yourself and trust the decisions that you make, you are without a doubt going to fuck up time and time again. And if you don't fuck up, it's dumb luck that's getting you there. Now let's talk about learning to trust your employer. If you have gone through the process of learning to trust yourself, we're going to assume that you have. Building trust with your employer should put you on track to having that person as your mentor. Once you've gone through the process of learning to trust yourself, that's the kind of employers that you should be looking for. The kinds of people who are great leaders, who you know are going to steer a ship that is uniting, that has a culture that you want to belong to, that delivers on a product that you believe in and inspires you. It's important that you're inspired by the leader that you've chosen to follow in a business and contribute to the end product or the end game or the final, whatever it is you're working in, whether it be a cafe or brand or whatever. It's important that you trust where they're leading you as a team, as an individual. You want to trust their counsel. You want to trust their mentor. And if you're not finding employers that you can trust, come back to yourself. What is it about me that I can't trust? Am I in the right environment, the right city, the right country, the right industry, the right sector of an industry? You know, finding your people is important. It's been a lifetime journey for me, and I'm still not there, but I'm more there today than I was a year ago. And that's telling me a lot about what I'm learning about the idea of trust. If you don't find employers that you can trust, the likelihood is that they're not going to trust you. Which takes me to the idea of learning to trust or finding employees that you can trust. Trust comes in it's got lots of different meanings, right? It's not just about having employees that you can trust with, oh, if I need to give them cash to go to the bank. I mean, there's not a lot of people that are dealing in cash anymore these days, but let's say I use that as an example. Can I find employees that I can trust to take cash to the bank? That's one type of trust. But I'm noticing more and more and more what's becoming an integral thing that employers are struggling with and are looking for. An integral thing that employers are looking for in employees is, can I trust this employee to deliver on what they believe they can deliver on. There seems to be a real disconnect. I want to say at the moment, but I think it's these days. I don't see this as something that's going to be changing anytime soon. But there definitely seems to be a disconnect between what people say they can do and what people can actually deliver. And finding employees that can deliver on that specific thing is huge. I struggle finding employees that can do that. I think I've finally understood why I struggle with that. I think people come to both of these brands wanting to work for the brands and realizing they don't really want to do the work that's required to be a part of the brands. And that's something that I have heard verbatim from loads of people that have either interned with me, but particularly paid work for me. And so I've had to do some healing around that as an employer, in that why the fuck can't I find people that actually can do what they say they can do? Again, I need to take it back to me. What am I not trusting about myself as an employer? What am I giving over that is leaving me just trusting these people without doing the necessary due diligence to bring people into the businesses that deserve to be here and that can give to the business as much as myself, as much as I, as the ship steerer, will pour into them. Because that's something I absolutely do as an employer. I pour into the people that work for me. I spend a lot of time mentoring. I spend a lot of time talking to them about loads of stuff around the career, around their transitions, etc. And they know that before they come. And I'm giving too much before I'm understanding what I should be receiving and taking people at their word. And I'm hearing this again and again and again from employers. Why don't people do what they say they can do? So if you're watching this and you're an employee and that's a situation that you have found yourself in, over-promising, I'd invite you to reassess how something like that can be a detriment to your future career and to the way that you're perceived by an employer. If you're an employer that's in that position, I want you to know that you're not alone. I don't know how the generations before our generation of business owners, entrepreneurs experienced this, and I don't know if this is something that has just always existed, but I do know that it's something that's hyper prevalent right now, and I think it's going to continue into the future. I feel that people are getting more and more okay, I'm going to say something that may be a little controversial. I feel that people are buying into the idea of, if I just stay positive and convince myself I can do something, then it's so. Well, all of those #positive quotes that you're reading on Instagram that just convince you that if you tell yourself enough that that's true, well, that's great, but it's not so. You've got to do the hard work to make it happen. Find employers that you can tell, this is where I want to grow myself. Can you help me do that? You will build mountains of trust with an employer doing that. I wish people that came to me said, I really want to work for you. I want to be mentored by you, because they all come and say that. But the thing that they don't come and say is, this is what I want to be mentored in. This is what I want to learn. This is how I want to grow. So when I ask them that question, and I always ask that question, I believe their answer. But what I'm not realizing is, and this is a growth point for me as an employer, what I'm realizing is that those are just things that they say. And I'm just too trusting. I'm believing people. I need to find new mechanisms for how I can explore and get to the heart of, is this an employee that I can trust to deliver on what they say they can deliver? I hope this has helped. This is one of my favorite subjects to talk about. On that note, peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day, and cheers.